What a topic.
Yeah.
Love and logic. Here with our beautiful friend Deirdre Selby from Soul Enhancements.
Mhm.
If you would like to say a couple words for from you, D, represent what you bring forth to this contribution, to this world, to this space.
Oh, it changes so much. Once you go on an awakening journey, you are on a journey of growth, of change, of allowing yourself to open and grow. And my growth at this point is in the stars, working with so many amazing beings that have come in to help and to work with me, and in the fifth dimension, and in opening the fifth dimension, that we can be here in the third dimension, staying here, doing our work, fulfilling our life's purpose, and having a life that is full and complete in the fifth dimension, sending that energy in to us to spread here in the third dimension and bring that, making it full and complete, allowing that fifth dimensional energy to become part of the 3D. Love is the lesson. Love is, Judy is the goddess of love. I am the 5D expression of love.
And as you say that, I love how you like disappearing in certain aspects.
Yeah.
It's like you're going two dimensions and then coming back to this one, and it's amazing.
Point that out. I was like, that was really cool. It's like she's disappearing and coming back, disappearing and coming back. So she's already doing her thing.
Look at my baby.
Coming back. Yeah.
Oh, that's the new baby, but I love it.
That's Curly.
Oh,
Curly's
it's
down
Curly.
In the background.
Oh, okay. I see. I see.
there. Big Curly.
Hi, Curly.
That's a side of Curly I've never seen. No, I'm just kidding. Thank you, Dee, for being here with us. We appreciate you. You as also my mentor here in the spiritual realm, in this beautiful 3D body that we're coming to learn. And as you're teaching me all this, I'm very appreciative for you to share space with us today. So we also got Judy, the goddess of love. Judy, would you like to represent something for this?
Yes. So I'm excited about doing this topic today of love and logic. It's an interesting journey with the unfolding of love. I'm gonna put this here because I can hear the echo. But it's an interesting unfolding with the love, with the journey, with the pondering and realizing and the lesson that Dee was talking about. That was interesting because it really is. We're here to kind of work out that lesson of love, and for me, it's like really been that unconditional love. How do we continue to show up and to be this love and to spread this love, with no conditions, with not, if you do this for me, I love you. If you don't do this for me, I don't love you, kind of a thing. And that feeling that sometimes happens. And I think it's one of those old stories, right? That comes kind of like maybe from when we're little, that kind of like came down from our parents and from their parents. But it's so interesting to speak on this particular topic today because it's like putting the mind and the heart in connection and putting everything in unison, and making it just like, okay, we can really put everything together, and really what is love and what isn't love, and kind of like, even go into the different perspectives and go into what's that word that I'm thinking of? um it's gonna come back to me. It's gonna come back to me. But excited about this and for us to continue to evolve even with the lesson of love. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah,
It
thank you.
reminds me almost like show me you love me and I'll love you. Or that
Exactly.
saying that we had a lot, like trust is earned.
Yeah.
You have to show me I can trust you.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna get into that, but that's a whole other topic
Yeah.
of how we've been maybe conditioned to
Mm-hmm.
think or conditioned to love, conditioned to show our appreciation. So many things that we're now realizing that is no longer serving us. It's no longer
I,
serving this
I
space.
remember a movie, the love story, back from when I was a kid. And the big phrase in it was love means never having to say you're sorry. And I think one of the big things I've learned is love means being willing to admit that I'm totally wrong and being willing to say I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Being willing to say, hey, and even if I'm not wrong, being willing to say, hey, I love you way more than being right.
Yes.
Yes.
And I'm sorry I hurt you.
That brings us to the Opopono, right?
Oponopono.
Oponopono.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking about it. She was saying
I'm
that.
sorry.
I
I
love
love
you.
you.
Please forgive me.
And
You
then
know.
and then what
And
else?
then what's the other?
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Yeah.
Thank you for the learnings.
Thank you.
Yes.
And me, Mr. R, Rafael, I consider an alpha male that my inspiration here, my passion is to gather men up and say, hey, it's okay to speak our truth. It's okay that we don't need to be validated. We know our position here in this world. And to create a beautiful place with the feminine energy, it's a beautiful thing. Me, from my background, kind of Xing out everybody and saying, you know what, I can do this on my own. I don't need the feminine energy. I don't want it. I'm good. Every time I get near it, I get hurt or I don't get appreciated. So always looking for that validation, and it's not that. I was never looking for a validation. We got Jason. What's up, Jason?
Hey. Welcome.
If you want to put your camera, my brother, we would love to see your beautiful face. Talking about alpha males, we got another alpha male here. And just as I was saying, look how another alpha male shows up. I love it because that is one of my biggest passions is to gather up men together and say, hey, let's work as a team with our beautiful feminine energy that I don't want to say needs us, but we hold a very special place together in the foundation of the male and feminine energy. So that is one of my passions here so far. What's up, brother?
Acá, I'm laying down, bro.
Cool, my brother.
My
We love,
body needed some rest.
well, we love that you showed up, man. And Jason, Deirdre, we got Deirdre, one of our beautiful mentors.
Yep.
Jason is Judy's brother.
Yeah.
So nice for you to join us.
Yep. You guys are looking fancy.
Nice to meet you, Jason.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so let's start this beautiful topic, which is love and logic. And we started like this. Can y'all see the screen share?
Yep.
Okay.
Love and logic. We don't want to call this a workshop. We want to call it a play shop.
Yes.
Because one great reminder here is to make it fun.
And to play.
Whatever, however we're doing what we're doing, let's remember to make it fun. Because fun is one of the reasons we came to Earth. Fun is one of the reasons we came from wherever we came, that we said we need some conflict. We need some pressure cooker. We need action.
Contrast.
We need some contrast. We need some action. So now that we're here in this earth, now we can say, all right, let's make this fun, not make it that experience. So love and logic, we want to kind of put two pillars up in here. This is a two-pillar table. Oh, I love that. We can do balloons and everything.
Oh, with the
thumbs, fireworks.
It comes up.
Two-pillar table. And this two-pillar table, these pillars are made out of cement. So it's about probably 10 centimeters of cement and maybe 2 feet wide of cement for these pillars. So they're very concrete. This is not a four table. This is not a four-legged table. This is a two-legged table. The first leg, express your feelings. Why is it important to express your feelings, Judy?
Why is it important? So that the other person can know what you're thinking, what you're holding on to, or maybe what is, what you need to get out. If there's something that maybe the other person did something and they may not know. So it's important for us to express our feelings so that the other person can know, right, what is going on with us. Because neither one of us, is a mind reader. And when we express those feelings and we're able to allow the other person into our intimate space, into our what may be going on with us, we're allowing them in so that they can know what's going on, how we're feeling, what might have happened. Otherwise, we're just assuming sometimes that the other person knows. And this goes for all relationships, right? With our mother, with our brothers, with our sisters, with our kids. For those of us that have kids, it's like, but for all relationships with our friends, sometimes we make the assumption that that person knows, and they may not know. They sincerely may not know that they either hurt our feelings or that they did something to us. So it's important for us to express our feelings and to always remember to come from, as much as possible, to come from a place of being completely transparent. That part is so, so important for us to be able to express ourselves in a way where we're being transparent and we're getting the point across, and that we're not scared. We're not afraid to go there with the person, because they need to hear what they need to hear sometimes, as much as we need to hear what they need to express as well.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Lovely. One thing that I feared on expressing my feelings was that I would get misunderstood. So I would back up and say, no, let me not say this because this might create this and this conflict. I don't want it in my life. So I would fear conflict. Now that I get to really change the point of view or change that perspective, it's like, no, conflict is needed sometimes, especially in expressing, because from conflict we can create clarity, but with compassion, not conflict with I'm right, you're wrong, or you're wrong and I'm right. No, 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 no. Compassion. Let me express what I feel. Let me speak my truth. Thank you, Deirdre, for all the obsidian you gave me.
Yes.
Speak my truth, and also not fear that I'm gonna be misunderstood, because it's not about that. It's about, hey, this is how I feel. This is an opportunity for me to tell you how I feel. And I'm a great listener. So tell me how you feel about how I feel, or how you feel about how you feel. And that expressing feeling causes one beautiful thing, which is we share our thoughts and emotions openly with your love. Honest communication fosters intimacy and understanding.
Yeah. And I want to add
Go
something
ahead.
to that. It's interesting when he said that had this fear of being misunderstood. And it's funny because when we have those fears, we attract that, right? So it's like, even though he was like, I had this fear and I didn't want to go there, but as he's, still doing it with the fear, he's attracting the fear, right? In this whole situation. And it's still, there's misunderstanding through that. So it's like, this is something that we continue to work on, that we continue to practice, that we continue to get better at. It's not something that's perfect. Sometimes you do get misunderstood. I get misunderstood, I think, often, because sometimes I've been told that, when I'm expressing myself, that sometimes I can come off a little harsh, or maybe like, a little bit brass, or just rough around the edges. So, it's important to, when you hear this feedback, right? Like if somebody's saying this to me, and when I'm hearing this feedback, for me to think about, okay, how am I approaching this situation? Because conflict is healthy and conflict is necessary, because we're not always going to agree on the same thing. We're not always going to see eye to eye. We're going to have our own interpretations. We're going to have our own perceptions. We're going to have our own ideas, just like we all do. And so it's important for us to, when we do receive that kind of feedback, is to kind of take a step back and say, oh, okay, wait, maybe I can approach this way and still get my point across, but maybe I need to soften this up and go into compassion and go into empathy and go into maybe a different, because this person's on this level and I'm on this level. So it's just this beautiful awareness that happens even through the misunderstandings. That's why I love this so much, because through the expression, we can actually get to different places. Like we're not staying stuck, because when we don't say anything, nothing happens. Like there's nothing that happens with that. So
No growth.
yeah, there's no growth. So it's definitely good if you're feeling uncomfortable in a situation with that conflict, when you're expressing your feelings, it's okay because you're your own person and then the other person's their own person. And there's different and there's a respect through that as well. So
Feeling uncomfortable
yeah.
is an opportunity to grow.
So,
And is it uncomfortable? Yes, it is. But am I willing to step up to that growth? Yes, I am. And expressing our feelings through compassion. What is compassion? Like you say, compassion is, it doesn't matter if you're right, I'm wrong, or no, no, no. It's sharing each other's perspective to understand each other and to continue to love upon each other. Could be with our children, could be with our parents, could be with our friends, could be with our spouse. Whatever it is, it's all important.
yeah.
Next pillar, we got Tristan. Tristan, welcome.
Welcome,
If you,
Tristan.
we invite you, if you're willing, to turn on your camera so we can see who's behind door number 4. What's up, Tristan? Look at that beautiful face. Goku. Thank you, my brother. You know, it was so funny because in the beginning of this, before the Zoom, I'm like, man, it's probably going to be filled with feminine energy. And look,
You
we came in. So
You
males,
manifested
we
it.
did one. We did one, males. No, I'm
Yes,
just
you
kidding.
did.
No comparison. Next, listen actively.
Oh, yes.
The second pillar, listen actively. What does this mean? Actively is that I'm fully engaged in the conversation. I'm not on my phone listening to you. I'm not thinking of what I'm going to eat later listening to you.
You
No,
might.
it might come in, but then we have this beautiful awareness that says, oh, back and bowl, back and bowl. Listen actively is such an important thing that I've learned throughout the years because I can be fully present. And one of the relationships that really has flourished from this listen actively is the relationship with my children. To really listen to these little guys, to really listen to what they got to say, not me always wanting to be in control of them and say, you got to do it like this. This is the way. No, listen, I've done that before. You got to look at this. No, no, no. They got their journey. Let me listen how they're experiencing their journey. Let me listen to these little guys because these little guys are the future. So this is what they're going to inspire. So let me listen to these little hearts inspire their inspiration. So listen actively is such an important. Jay?
Yeah, and with the listening actively, it's you notice it, you notice it if somebody's like looking at you or they're appear distracted. And so listening actively is like also being able to repeat what the person is saying. This is an important part of it too, is like so something that really helps me so that I can ensure that I am listening to what the person is saying to me is repeating what they said. So what I'm hearing you say is la 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 la. And so, I kind of repeat what they just said to me just to ensure like that clarity and to ensure that there's, like an understanding there because, right, how many times does it happen? It's like you communicate something and you thought you were so clear and concise, but you were not. And so and it happens right to us. And so
I made my
listening,
own punchline.
yeah, and so listening actively is like super important and just kind of like repeating back. I love when we do that because that works really well for us for clarity and we're like all like we're on the same page when we do that.
And like I said earlier, to make it fun.
Yeah.
So one thing that we can make it fun through this is you can ask the other person, what did you hear me say?
Yeah.
And you're going to understand if they're listening or not.
Especially with kids,
Especially with kids,
Yeah.
yes.
With kids, it works really well because when you do ask them, how many times do you get a different
That is
response?
such a beautiful tool. I'm
Yeah.
like, son, what did you hear me say? And now I got them thinking like, oh man, he got me. And that's amazing. So next, what is the listen actively? Make sure to listen to your partner's needs and desires. Now remember, partners, friends, parents, whatever relationship we're encountering in the moment, what are their needs and desires? Validation and understanding
Strengthens your bond.
strengthens your bond.
Yeah.
Very beautiful.
So let's touch on that a little bit more. So with the validation and understanding for us to, this is just validating even when they're like going and expressing their feelings, right? It's like validating, like I think Dee went earlier when we were talking, Dee brought up a good point when she said she was talking about, you know, this love, right? This love and loving no matter what, right? Like it brings me to the validating part of it where it's like, you know what, I hear that, I hear what you're saying to me. I'm sorry I hurt you. I love you. And let's, you know, it's almost like saying, like, let's move forward together. How can I make this better? Because sometimes, you know, the other person is letting us know that maybe this is not the way that they want to be approached, or maybe this is not the way that they want us to speak to them, or whatever it might have been, something that kind of, you know, affected them or hurt their feelings. Validating that is super important in the moment so that the other person knows, hey, I care about you. I care about you so much that, you know, thank you for telling me. Thank you for sharing that with me. And I'm going to take that into consideration up for myself, you know, so the next time that I approach you, it's, you know, I'm considering that. So this is something that creates more than like, I love that it says strengthens your bond, but it does really create a sacred, safe space for the other person, for them to feel comfortable in opening up and sharing more and more. And it really does create that intimacy. So wanted to touch on that. That was like super important.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We created these two pillars in the beginning of this for this purpose, because in this meeting, in this encounter, and in this sharing, I really encourage us to come into this with a beginner's mind. We're going to put everything aside and we're going to be fully present. So we're going to express our feelings and we're going to listen actively to each other. Are we all willing to play full out? That is all I'm asking. Are we willing to play full out? Jason, you willing to play full out with us?
What do I have to say?
You don't have to say nothing, but express your feelings, what you feel, and listen actively. You down?
All right, now.
We're going to start. We're going to go on this next rounds, and these next rounds, we're going to go a little deeper of what we're doing here. You down to play full out?
I'll try.
All right, cool. I'm down with that. Deirdre, you down to play full out?
That's who I am.
Tristan. Tristan is gone. Juan, welcome, brother. Juan Torres. You down to play full out with our brothers? And I don't even have to ask you because I know you are, but let me ask you. Oh, we do got Tristan. Tristan, you down to play full out? I see you now, bro. All right, thumbs up. Juan, you there? Can you listen to us, Juan?
Can you hear?
Can you hear?
Can you hear us?
Can you listen actively to us? All
Hello?
right. Yes, sir.
Yay, he's there.
Oh, I'm actually on the headset, so it kind of like with the wind and everything in the background, kind of keeps going back and forth.
Well, welcome here, brother. I'm telling
Hey.
you, this has become, Deirdre, look how beautiful this space has become. I love it. I love it. Juan, are you willing to play full out? And all we're asking is express your feelings and listen actively.
I will do my best. I just having issues with the wind in the background, so I will do my best.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
The question we represent today, what if the key to deeper connection lies in the balance between our emotions,
And our words.
our emotions?
And our words.
What a question. When I seen this, I'm like, this is it. Because there's a depth in all of us that we can always dive deeper within. And when we don't avoid the feeling of the emotion that causes the uncomfortability, we get to express these beautiful words that come out by speaking our truth. And that, my friends, is why we're here. We're here to express these emotions. We're here to learn from these emotions. We're here to expand with these emotions for the purpose of co-creating. So these words, they hold weight. It's an instrument that we have here. The question is, how are we using this instrument that we possess? How are we using these emotions that we possess? It is true that they say we're not the emotions, we're not the body, we're not this. But guess what? We experience these things.
Yeah.
So, how are we using these things? And are we using these things effectively, or are we just using them however it might be? You want to touch on this? Okay. So, that's the question we wanted to ponder upon our beautiful hearts. And the first round, we're going to go 8 rounds, and we're going to go through these rounds with a lot of empathy and beginner's mind. Embrace empathy. And what does that mean? Understand the feelings behind the words, because empathy fosters deeper connections.
Now this one I want to touch on. With this one, this is one of those that, you know, we kind of, you know, how if we've heard that term, like put yourself in the other person's shoes, kind of like it's going into the empathy for the other person. And this is part of also creating intimacy and creating that sacred safe space, because we're allowing the person to come as they are, to show up as they are showing up. And with that is like really loving them unconditionally and showing that care. Because sometimes, or most of the time, as we all are learning, right, is we these things that are there that show up, triggers and whatnot, all these different things that create conflict for us with our relationships. A lot of the times they're triggers, or they're things that happened from like so long ago. And so it's important to have embrace empathy in these situations, because when we're empathetic, then we're kind of like surrounding our the other person with love and understanding that, you know, it maybe it's not something that is on the surface right now. Maybe it's something beyond that. It's something more deeper than that. And so when we go there and we remember to be empathetic and embrace that empathy, it helps us to just be more closer to that person, to be opened up, you know, to open up our mind and our heart and to think differently, not just thinking about our needs or what happened in the moment, but going into this understanding and this willingness with the other person that is part of the relationship.
And there's a beautiful distinction that I really want to make, and it's like this: empathy is not being weak.
Mhm.
That's why we put it strengthens the connection. In the past, I thought being empathetic was me showing my weakness. In fact, I always lived with this quote for a long time: don't mistake my kindness for weakness. And that quote didn't take me really nowhere, because the empathy is, I don't know what the other person is dealing with. I don't know what they might be feeling at the moment. I don't know what they might be going through. So as I show my empathy for that, whatever they contribute to my life, whatever they contribute to this moment, I can still embrace that, love that, and accept that. Now, what do you want to touch that? So there's a question here I want to state for all of us. Can you share a time when empathy changed the outcome of a conversation for you? Can you share a time when empathy changed the outcome of a conversation for you? Deirdre, can you share something about? Would you love to share something when there was a time that empathy changed the outcome of your conversation for you?
Recently, I have a friend who is in the process of divorce. And she was sharing some information with me. And my initial take on it was that her response was putting her in a position of weakness, because she was lowering herself to the same level from which her ex was acting. And when I voiced that, she got very upset. And my initial reaction was to dig in my heels because I care so much about her. I didn't want her putting herself in that position of both of them one-upping and getting him getting mad and then her getting madder, and it took me a couple hours afterward to realize that when I dug in my heels, all I did was hurt her. And to put myself into the feeling what she was feeling and realizing that it wasn't my show, it's her show and it's her feelings. And what I needed to do was just feel with her and not, she didn't need my opinions. She didn't need my take on it. She needed to share. She needed to let out what she felt and how she felt. And so I got back in touch with her and I just said, I love you. And you need to do whatever you need to do here. And you need to know that you are fully supported and loved. And that's all I'm here for, is to fully support you and love you and tell you to do what you know is right and best for you. And that is moving away from the I. This isn't my thing to be I about. There are things where I need my I, but this wasn't mine. This was hers. And I needed to go into empathy because what she needed was for me to be hers and to be heard and to be felt.
Thank you, Dee.
Thank you for sharing.
It's definitely important to understand that very, very well.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the other person doesn't need advice or doesn't need nothing. They just need someone to listen, someone to just be there in that moment.
When I would like to add to that, it's like it's in that moment, the person, it's almost like they want to be seen, and they don't feel like maybe they might not feel like they're seen, they're being seen, they're not being maybe even, felt with what is going on, especially when it's like the deeper things that come up, those are the ones that we really have to create, that's why I love going back to this, creating a sacred safe space, because it really is creating that and creating that intimate space for that person to just be. And then for us, it's like holding that space. We're holding that space for them to allow them to really unfold and go there, to give them that moment and that time and space to go there and release whatever, and for them to feel that we see them. Like, I see you. I care about you. I see you. This is important to me. And so that active listening with embracing that empathy is like super, super important.
And not try to be a fixer-upper. We're not here to fix nobody. We're just here to work it out all together.
Yeah.
Round 2.
Mindful communication. I love this one.
Practice active listening and be present in conversations to enhance understanding.
And now with this one, we have another question for you guys. Okay. And this time we'll choose somebody else to go next. What techniques do you currently use to stay present during conversations? Are we going to call on somebody?
Yeah, I'm gonna call Juan.
Okay.
Juan, are you willing, my brother?
I'm going to read the question again, just to make sure. What techniques do you currently use to stay present during conversations?
Are you asking me, Rafael?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The best thing is to have no distractions in front of me. I always try to put the phone away. If I have somebody wanting to, be dealing with in front of me, I will go ahead and not answer my phone calls. I'll go ahead and actually message the person back, hey, let me call you back, or let them know, hey, I'm with somebody else, or I'm doing something else, let me call you back. But most of the time, I just try, like you said, be in the moment, be right there with the person, and most importantly, do eye contact to make sure that they know that I'm paying attention.
Nice.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing, Juan.
You're welcome.
I can't really see the whole thing. Okay.
Being present and engaged in conversations enhances understanding and reduces misunderstanding. This is what we've been talking about since the beginning of time. It's important to stay present and engaged in what we're doing. Could be in the conversation, could be doing something, but understand that we have, well, not have, that we can get into the monkey mind and then it goes squirrel.
Yes.
Be aware of that squirrel. Once you see the squirrel, it's like, oh, let me get back to what I'm doing. Let me get back to listening here because it's going to come in and out. It's going to happen. But the practice is to continue to practice this when we notice the squirrel and to come back to this present. That's the key. Fourth round, heartfelt connections. Judy said, hey, how come I don't represent heartfelt connections? And you do? I'm like, because you're all heart, baby. I need to get more into the heart, baby. So let me represent this one, all right? Let me get heartfelt
switching.
connections.
Yeah, but you're like all over the mind. Did you see that?
Yeah. Cultivate emotional bonds by sharing experiences and vulnerabilities. The question for this one is, what is one personal experience you feel comfortable sharing that has strengthened a connection? Jason, my brother.
I know. I was gonna call out. I was like, "This is Jason. This
It's
goes
for you, my brother. What is one personal experience you feel comfortable sharing that has strengthened a connection? What is one
Uh,
personal experience?
yeah. Could you repeat that again? I
What
got, I got, I got the squirrel running around, bro.
What is one personal experience you feel comfortable on sharing that has strengthened the connection? So basically, what has happened lately in your life that you feel that in a relation, any type of relationship, you feel the bond got stronger?
Yeah. I think a little distance, you know, because well, yeah, that's right now. Like, I recently moved in, and yeah, I'm new to this, so it's like pretty much just like like talking about like what bothers me, like from my brother's passing, and how sometimes I am, it's like just being vulnerable sometimes, like of like what you feel, you're like the sadness that you have, is like just talking about it with your partner, pretty much has made us, bond even more, and for her pretty much the same with her mom, so that kind of like made our bond stronger. I don't know if that's, you know, the right answer. I don't even know what the hell I'm talking about. I still got the scroll running around right now.
Jason, there's definitely no wrong and right. You share what you share, and we're here to once again hold this space for each other and know that an open heart and an open mind is definitely acts of grace. And what does that mean? That means the more we open up our minds, the more we open up our hearts, the more we share, the more insights we get with ourselves. This is your story. I share my story. You share, everyone has a story. And the more we share this story, the more we get to learn if the story we're sharing is something that how we want to live, we want to continue to live our lives. We want to
Yeah.
continue to cultivate this beautiful body and this beautiful earth. That we want the insights that we get from sharing our story is beautiful, my brother. So thank you for sharing. Gracias.
Thank you.
And what I did here is like, okay, boom. I kind of just flip these words around. Same thing. Sharing experience and vulnerability helps cultivate emotional bonds. And that's what happened, my brother. You got more connected with your partner. Why? Because you guys shared your emotions together.
Yeah.
So thank you, bro. Next round.
Ooh, setting boundaries.
See how I left this one for
Yes,
you?
I know. I was like, ooh, this man is about to.
This was very deliberately put, all right? Very deliberate.
So setting boundaries, this one is learn to communicate your needs while respecting others' boundaries. So also with this one is also learning to set boundaries, right? For yourself. What do we mean by this? We have a question that's going to go along with this, but with learning to communicate our needs is we're going to communicate with our partner, what our needs are, what is it like that I need from you, da 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 da, but then also by respecting his boundaries, right? Respecting what he has going on. That's super important. The question that I'm going to put out to you guys is, how do you typically communicate your boundaries to others? How does this typically happen? I'm going to call on Tristan for this one. Tristan, can you share?
Are you willing to
Are
share?
you willing to share?
Yeah, I'm willing to share. Actually,
Thank
this
you,
is
Tristan.
something that I've been having trouble with for sure. Like I feel like um I get very afraid when like when it's time for me to set a boundary. I get afraid that I'm gonna push the person away or lose them. So I am more lenient and more like giving in to kind of like please them, like people pleasing behaviors. Like I feel like I'm still having trouble with that. And like there's been moments where like I'll do good in expressing what I want in the beginning, and then as time moves forward, um like things will arise where it changes, and then they ask me if I'm willing to like compromise, and then I'll usually like in the depth of my being, I I want them to feel happy and I want to like appease them, so I'll just say kind of what I feel like they want to hear,
Mm.
and then that'll cause internal conflict with myself. So like I'm saying what I can in the moment to eliminate the external conflict, but then that later causes more internal conflict for myself that I have to deal with. And then sometimes like I'll do what I wanted to do without telling them because I'm like, well, if they don't know, it's not gonna hurt them. And then later on, they find out, and then it causes bigger issues instead of just being firm in the moment. Like, actually, you know what? Like, I'm not willing to accept this compromise, or maybe there's some way that we can like find a more middle ground where we're both not feeling like we're compromising too much.
Mm-hmm.
um, but yeah, this is a big thing for me because it basically is the reason why I'm in separation from my partner right now. Like we just had a breakup like a week or two ago, and I'm still like trying to figure out. Um, and part of it too is like the person, they said they wanted more like commitment, but like throughout the time they would keep like being hot and cold, or like maybe wanting to leave and then coming back, and because of that lack of like commitment on their end, that caused me to also be like, okay, well, I shouldn't really take this as serious, and then maybe I should also be like protecting myself and like exploring other connections, and like being open to meeting other people. If I'm not seeing the same amount of commitment that this person's asking for me, and like how do I balance that?
Wow. That's a really good, thank you for sharing. That's really great, great insights there. Um, and I think with the setting boundaries, right? That one's like super important. I think for this one, something that I do want to touch on is it's super important and crucial that while we're in any kind of, when we're thinking about any relationship, that we speak our truth. The reason why I say this is so important, and we were talking about this at the beginning, right? Speaking our truth is we leave like not much room for the gray area. Because like, if I'm standing in my truth and I'm saying this is what I want, this is what I'm looking for, and I'm being truthful, speaking my truth, then there's not a lot of room for a gray area where he's going to have a misunderstanding of what I'm saying, because what I'm saying and what I'm doing are the same. That's why it's so important for us to like, yes, I understand people pleasing. I get that. I think we all do that, or we've done that, or we're working toward, with that. But with this, it's important for us to remember that we have to stay true to ourselves, to who we really are. And that's a journey that is so beautiful, because we stay in connection with who we truly are authentically, and our originality of who we are. And we don't really compromise of like, what it is that we're doing, or that we're saying that who we are, what we want, right? There's not too much compromise in that. Of course, there's compromise with any relationship, right? But when we're standing in our truth, it really makes a difference, so that there's no gray area as much, if that makes sense. I feel like you want to add something.
Not much, but I do want to say thank you, Tristan. Thank you, my brother. This is it. There's no coincidence.
Yeah.
What feels the most uncomfortable will continue to show itself to us as our greatest teacher here in this world. So, from my experience, definitely, from my experience point, speaking my truth has definitely took a lot of weight off my shoulders. And Xing out the feeling that I might hurt somebody with my truth has definitely taken a lot of weight off my shoulders. And I practice it, and I get excited, when I feel this urge to speak. I get excited and I said, oh, damn, you want to speak? That's beautiful. Let it out. And really detaching from the outcome of what this is going to cost. That's also like super, super, super important to me, because it's not about the attachment anymore. It's about, this is what I'm feeling. This is how I feel.
Yeah.
And being clear with that, understanding that I'm clear with that, has created a platform for me that is like, it's beautiful colors instead of this darkness that, hey, I need to be alone right now. I need to avoid this. I need to, this is my experience. I'm talking from my experience, just wanting to be in my cocoon and opening that cocoon and just let my wings spread and be like, you know what? This is what I feel. Whatever the outcome might be, let it be.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. That's a really good point. Yeah.
And I put this one, learn communication of needs and boundaries. Clear communications of needs and boundaries is essential for a healthy relationship. And remember, the most delicious and healthy relationship, or the most delicious relationship we can encounter, is the relationship with ourselves. As the relationship with ourselves is healthy, then my relationships in the external with others will be healthy. Once again, from my experience, my point of view. Next round, conflict resolution. What does this mean, Rojo? Transform disagreements into opportunities for growth and understanding.
I love that.
See, we did this very deliberate, where every stepping stone matters. So as we continue to unfold this puzzle in front of our eyes, we say conflict of resolution. What? That means if I have an opportunity to disagree with someone, to create clarity, why not go for it? Why not go for it? Because there's going to be growth and understanding that's going to take place in this disagreement. Or
For both. For both. There's gonna be growth and understanding opportunities for both. As I'm learning about myself through this, then the other person is also learning, because we're here to work that out. And along, with our relationships, this is how we learn about ourselves. So when we have these conflicts, when we go into this conflict resolution, we're like, okay, it's okay to agree to disagree sometimes, but they brings on a new opportunity. If we're up for the challenge and we're up for that growth, and it really makes a difference because we're learning more about ourselves through this process. So there are definite opportunities.
so, Deirdre, I want to tell you a question if you're willing to share. Can you share a time when conflict led to a stronger relationship for you?
Oh, most definitely. My ex-husband lives with us. And Terry and I most definitely have a much stronger relationship now than we had at the point where we were married. I mean, most definitely.
So,
Um,
so Deirdre, just to be clear, so you are married, living with your husband, and at the same household, your ex-husband lives with both of you.
right. And you guys know that because you know both Scott and Terry.
Terry.
Um,
Wow.
and it was interesting listening to Tristan because Terry would say yes to everything. Anytime I'd try to put boundaries or he'd agree, and then he'd do exactly what he damn well pleased. And it was a big part of, and I'm not saying that what he has going on with his partner parallels, because it could be very different in every other aspect. But that particular piece was interesting. But we would talk, I would bring something that was very important to me, and he would agree. He always had the option to say no, but he never did because it was easier to tell me yes. And at the point where my son was 7, I went, I'm done. I'm just done. And I left. But we had a 7-year-old son to raise. And my ex was never a bad man. He just didn't have the ability to hold boundaries that were set. And at this point, we have resolved those issues. He has learned to tell me no, which has really helped our relationship. And I have learned what not to ask of him, what he cannot follow through on, what is out of the realm of reality for him. And by resolving those conflicts, he now, in order to be the best father that he can for our son, who is on the autistic spectrum, and even though he's 29, he still needs 2 parents. We now share a home with myself and my husband, and Sean is here, and his father is here.
You know, Deirdre, I've always admired that from you guys. I've always, and I tell this to Judy, like, what an example you're setting for others. And I'll tell you this from a personal experience. I tell Judy, she was married in the past. I had relationships in the past and we both have children from these people. And one thing that I told Judy is like, I see us one day, all of us, the mother of my children's, the father of your children's, having a barbecue at the park, chilling.
I always felt like if I cared enough about this person to choose to marry him, what did it say about me if I vilified him?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And, you know, what I preach is love. Now, there are people that I do not choose to have in my life on an everyday basis.
That's a
And,
boundary of its own.
and I send them love and I keep what interactions we need to have as pleasant as I can, usually very formal.
And gentlemen, I want to state this, and Deirdre, I'm gonna put this out that there's no coincidence once again. And Deirdre was born in February 14th.
Valentine's Day.
That's just to show you that there's no coincidence, and this world is a playful place. It shows us in many different ways. Like you're here to, it gives us signs all the time, synchronicities all the times. The question is, are we paying attention? Are we open to see this so we can learn from this to create a beautiful experience now that we're here, now that we made it? So thank you, Deirdre. You want to say something? Go ahead. Okay. Ah, beautiful. Conflicts can be transformed into opportunities for growth and understanding. Basically, that's like our takeaway, right?
Yeah.
And next,
The power of vulnerability. Do they click?
the power of vulnerability.
Yes. So for this one, it's open up your heart. Open your heart to create trust and strengthen relationships. When we are, again, stepping into our truth and being vulnerable, right? Because being truthful, also vulnerability is a big part of that. It's saying like, this is who I am. This is what I want. This is what I offer. This is what I bring to this relationship. This is like all of that. And this is being vulnerable with also our potential downfalls where we're not maybe some of the things that are not the greatest aspects of ourselves, and being able to open up and create that that trust with your partner or with the other relationship is super important. Just letting them know like, yes, this is part of my vulnerability, but being willing to go there, it does definitely help to strengthen that relationship because it creates intimacy. And intimacy is like into me, I see. So it's like as I'm sharing this with him, it's like I'm seeing myself in his eyes. It's like I can see myself in his eyes and vice versa. It's like creating this and to strengthen the relationship. I have a question now for this one is what fears do you have about being vulnerable in your relationships?
I would like to choose Jason. Jason,
Yeah.
What fears do you have about being vulnerable in your relationships?
Um. Well, there's a lot, you know.
give us one.
Yeah, just one that you can think
With
of, like
just one.
top of yeah, that just popped up. That's the
Um.
first one that popped into your mind.
Well, like currently, I would say because I don't have my driver's license. I don't know if that counts.
So go
So
ahead.
your fear of that is your fear of being like admitting to that, like that, being vulnerable with that because of what somebody might say, or
Well, yeah, pretty much because sometimes I feel like ashamed, that I haven't got it yet, and I know it's really like it's really up to me because I got to be more positive when it comes to like acing a test, not letting shit distract me, and a lot of times I kind of like feel It's more shame, like that I don't have it yet.
So it's a fear of the judgment of what somebody's thinking or saying about you?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
How many, if you're willing, how many times have you taken the test?
I took it 10 times already, bro.
Thank you.
Yeah, so and a lot of times, like my girlfriend, is like, well, she pretty much is the one driving all the time, and that fucks me up mentally. Uh,
Thank you, Jason.
yeah,
Because this is how we start being vulnerable by sharing the insights of our experience. Thank you, brother.
you're welcome, bro.
And to say it again is being open and vulnerable creates trust and strengthens relationships.
And I feel that the relationship sometimes that strengthens that not needs, but that strengthens the most is the relationship with ourselves.
With ourselves, yeah.
With ourselves. Because in my experience, I've noticed that others, they might not really look at what I'm looking at. And what I mean by that is like I'm making a big I make a story of something that I might feel ashamed for, and in their eyes, they ain't even looking at it that way. So basically, the whole doing is mine. I'm doing this all to myself, and the relationship is with myself. So that's always a big insight for me to experience, to be like, is this really your doing, or are you thinking for reals on this other side? And it's like, nah, this is your doing. So let's work on that. All right. Balancing emotion and logic, and we're almost done here. I know we said we're going to keep this under an hour. We totally
Have gone over.
yes, and we appreciate you for you still being here. Um Harness both emotional intelligence and logical reasoning for effective dialogue. Not too long ago, we did a nice play shop of effective communication was one part of the pillars. Effective communication is really what I'm saying. Is the other person really understanding where I'm coming from or what I'm trying to say? Because gentlemen and beautiful women, I've had I've learned about myself that in my mind I'm saying perfectly
Very
clear,
clear,
very
concise.
clear, concise. Thank
Yeah,
you.
clear and concise.
Thank you. And you can tell how much she passionate to even say that part when she didn't even let me finish. So thank you. High five. I'm thinking in my mind that I'm just super clear. And then she might be like, this is not what you're telling me. I'm getting a whole different dialogue from you. But in my mind, it's like, no, I've said, I put I said clearly what I needed to say. And that's what I'm working on. That's one of my greatest teachers is my dialogue. Is it effectively, but is the other person really understanding what I'm trying to say? Or is it just me all in my head saying, of course they understand because I've said it correctly. And that's almost like stepping away a little bit from the egotistic mind and be like, no, 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 let me repeat myself in different formats, in different ways to see and ask the question, what did you hear me say? Just for my personal vendetta.
Yeah, because what can happen sometimes with these situations is like, you know how we go there and we like, oh, do the whole rundown of the story of like all this, and then we think that we might have shared that with the other person, but we didn't share that story. We just did that in our mind. Like we did all that right here, and then it didn't go across to the other person. So that's where that, clear and concise, it's like it's important for us to ask those questions or even to say, so what I'm hearing you. So like for me, in this case, I could be like, so what I'm hearing you say is da 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 to ensure that there's a clear understanding there.
And once again, it strengthens the connection between our relationship, whatever relationship it might be. It strengthens the connection because now, as she knows that in this experience, she asks me, are you trying to say this to me? Because now she understands, like, let me get clear with this guy just to get things right and not get it twisted later down the line. So, Juan, are you willing to share with this question that I'm going to represent to you, my friend? Because you're a very logical man, and I love that about you. Let me tell you, we mastermind very effectively. Juan is one of my mastermind partners where we just pick each other's minds apart and we dive deep as we want to dive deep in our conversation because we resonate with what we're bringing forth here in our worlds. And it's a hell of a conversation that we bring forth, Juan. So I appreciate that relationship I have with you. So the question for you, Juan, is how do you find balance between emotion and logic in your conversations? I'm gonna repeat that again, Juan. How do you find balance between emotion and logic in your conversations?
For me, it's more about personal. Don't take things too personal. Make sure that whatever it is that is logic, is reasoning. I'll go ahead and I'm more about how to say, like you said it yourself, where I will go into like a deep conversation, even with myself, and just kind of like how to say, dig more deeper and try and figure it out more of what it is that I'm asking or what it is that I'm supposed to. What's the outcome? What am I working for?
Thank
But
you.
most of the time, I don't use feelings because that goes against logic.
Mm. So when you say you don't use feelings, what exactly does that mean?
Um, what I mean is if I need to do something, like let's say working with somebody, which I do work with a lot of people, sometimes I get that people will get frustrated or their patience will be kind of low, you know, and sometimes it's just that one of those things where they are how to say they're impatient, and I need to see it from their logical or their reasoning why they taking things a little bit like to the point where they feel it's like not being justified or it's not being like maybe their goals or something's not being met or something's not happening for them. And sometimes they need to know what's going on. And if they get upset with me or something, I need to take that in consideration. Hey, probably, it's just that at the moment their state of mind is not in the correct, in the correct how to say they're not in the right state of mind to have a logical conversation, if that makes sense.
So when you say you don't get the emotion in it, it's basically you're not taking it personal of whatever that
No.
they're bringing it forth. So you're not
Yes, sir.
you're not gonna get affected.
No.
Okay.
It's like it's. I mean, it's just like one of those things where you know that people are gonna get upset, are gonna get offended easily, or how people will take it things like personal. I try the opposite, where I just say, you know what, it's like what you guys were talking about earlier. Just listen, see where they're coming from, hear them out, and then on my own, as I get a chance to go over the conversation, I get to see more of what was going on, and if it was justified. But I usually don't take things personal, because when I do, I mean, there's a reason that they say that don't get into arguments or don't say certain things when you get upset, because your feelings might not be the right feelings.
Yeah.
Amazing.
The power of the pause.
There
Thank
you
you,
go.
Juan. Thank you.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Last round, we made it. And before that, effective dialogue requires both emotional intelligence and logical reasoning. That's exactly what you said, my brother. Thank you, Juan. Appreciate you.
And our next one is practical tools. So what practical tools? Um, so gain practical strategies for fostering healthy conversations and resolving conflicts. And explore strategies for fostering healthy conversations and resolving these conflicts again. So for this, we're saying it all over again. So with this, it's like we would like for you guys to think about, if there's any takeaways from here or just what you do personally, what are those tools? What are those tools? Are we going to share this back next week or?
We were talking about coming back next week and sharing the insights that we got here. And we can do that. We can definitely do that. And for the purpose of time and for the purpose of right now, just a quick little recap. What tools did you get or what insights did you get from these rounds that we took in from what we explained? And Tristan, I want to start with you, my brother. What tools did you, or if any, or what insights from this meeting from this play shop that you're taking away?
Um, it was for me like I kind of still wanted to ask this question, but I feel like you guys covered it well. Whereas like when someone's expressing to you like a problem that they have, um, like for me, my immediate reaction is to like find a solution for their problem, but that that can cause them to feel like not validated and not heard because you're just bypassing how they feel and trying to fix how they feel, but you're not giving them the space to feel how they feel. So I think the yeah, just having the empathy to listen without um giving any unsolicited advice.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, you put it together
Beautiful.
pretty well said.
Nice
Yeah.
insight, brother.
Mhm.
And that goes back to what Deirdre was saying with her friend, just listening there. And she had she understood that that was not her show. It was her partner, her friend's show. And her friend just needed to listen, need someone to listen. So that's it, brother. You answered it very well. That was all you with you, my brother.
Yeah.
You see that? See how that
But
works?
but like even though I know the answer, it's hard to apply it. Like you can know a lot of things, but without the ability to apply it in the situation, the knowledge is useless. You know what I mean? So I mean, I guess it's just gonna take more like time and experience and like being mindful of that.
Well,
But yeah, I don't know.
I, what makes it hard? What makes it hard for you?
Um, because I feel like when the person's expressing their problem, I know that it's making them feel negative, and I don't want them to feel negative. Like it hurts me that that person is feeling bad. So I want to do something. I want to take action to like help resolve their whatever's being conflicting, and then like I don't know. I just need to take a breath and like take the space to not jump in and try to give them all my ideas at once. So I was like, I could even be like, how am I supposed to know that my advice is even right? Like, what if whatever I'm advising is actually gonna make things worse? So I like I kind of know what to do and how to do it, but um, it's like uh trying to control the impulse,
Yeah.
you know, like trying to respond instead of react.
Yes, you touched on it. That's exactly it right there. It's like that response versus reacting. And then the other thing that I was gonna bring in as a question, I think when we ask more questions, it gets us different results as well. So like rather than going into the fixing mind, like, oh, I want to help fix this problem because the problem is presented to you right there and you want to get into your fixing mind and you want to fix it because you want to make it better. It's natural for us to do that. It is so natural for us to do that. It's part of our humanness. But if we ask the questions, just like Rafael was doing here with you, as he was asking you a couple more questions, right? It's like we can do the same thing. The more that we ask questions, then the more we can even help the person so that they can get to their answer that they're not asking themselves sometimes. When we're asking the questions. And so it's going out of our fixing minds and stepping into this, like I'm providing this space and I'm being supportive and I care about you. So I'm going to ask you the questions that maybe you're not asking yourself. And then maybe they'll start asking themselves the questions and they'll be coming up with their own solutions.
Beautiful.
So yeah, that's helpful as well.
Thank you, Trishan. I
Yes.
see you, brother. I see you. Just by being here, but I see you.
Yeah.
Jason, you got to take a my brother, or a tool.
Mande?
You say, you know what? I kind of like
Technique
this
or
too.
technique.
I think I'm gonna use this more.
Yeah.
Well, I kind of heard a lot what Dee was talking about, like how her living situation, and I was like, what I was thinking in my mind, I was like, damn, it's like bottom line, si se puede, you know, it's like anything is possible. Like we could all get along pretty much, you know, and I guess that's where being a loving person comes into play, you know. It's like trying to get along with everybody pretty much and having a good understanding and, you know, living in harmony. So
Mm.
it was a pretty good example of what she gave, you know.
And
But I'm pretty sure I'm not answering your question now.
oh no. It's not.
No.
It's not even a question, brother. It's basically
Yeah.
you coming out
Yeah,
with what you.
that's your key takeaway.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah, it was just amazing to hear. Like, you know, it's like damn, you know, anything is possible, you know. Just gotta be a loving person, you know, and accept everybody for who they are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big key takeaway.
Thank you, Jason. And I
Thank you.
definitely want to say thank you to Deirdre for bringing that forth. That story, Deirdre, for me, it moves a lot, and I'm encouraging more than ever to really put that story out there because that story it touches. It really puts people's perspective in a whole different level. That that you're
Thank
able
you.
to live that way, that you're able to create harmony with with your story, with your people, with your family, and put everything aside and be all in. So definitely encourage you to bring.
Well, also the other thing too is that it's powerful because it's nobody gets left behind. You know that saying is like, nobody gets left behind. It's like you're creating this unity and it's there. It's right there in your home and that's where we need to start is in our homes. So that's beautiful. Thank you for being here, Dee.
I want to say one thing real quick. It's not my turn, I don't think, but to Tristan is that I want him to realize what an empath he is and how he feels everything that everybody else is feeling and what an impact this has on him as he goes through his life. And that he really needs to learn what's his and what's other people's. And Raphael, tell him about Libyan gold.
Yes, it's a
Because,
crystal. Yeah, go ahead, D. Go ahead.
because for him, he is so influenced by everybody else's emotions and feelings. It is, it's impacting him in ways that he has no clue. And he's an amazingly good man. And he's being swayed by what isn't his.
Thank you, D.
So,
Thank you.
when I learned that I'm an empath, that made such a difference. And I started to learn what was mine and what was others and how to break those out. So reminding me about the empathy was probably my biggest takeout from what you did today.
Thank you, D. And Tristan, did you listen to that? Libyan gold, my friend. It's a crystal. It's a quartz. A quartz, or
No, it's a tektite.
it's a tic tac. And I'm an empath as well. So, Deirdre, there was a point in my life where said you need to wear this
Yeah,
on
we
you
both did.
all the time. And yes, it definitely made a difference where I can know or understand or feel that what's mine is mine and what's others, I don't have to put it on like a
Yeah,
backpack.
it's
I
not
don't have to
yours.
wear it. So, thank you, D.
If you want to connect him to me, you can. If he wants to find it elsewhere, I'm not here to. You
Uh,
can.
I definitely want to put that out there. Deirdre has a beautiful offerings of crystals and quartz and many beautiful gems that I'm gonna let you tell that, D. But if you guys feel inspired to reach out to her, we will definitely connect you with her and she can give you a more deeper insight of her how would you say it, D?
Her offering.
Everything we offer is ethically sourced. My son has the ability to open the energy channel within the crystals, and I have the ability to know exactly what you need.
Mm. So basically, she aligns the crystal, her and her son, Sean, a beautiful man as well. She aligns the crystal to you, to your energy
Your
source.
energy matrix.
Yes.
But
Thank
as I say, I'm not trying to sell on your thing and
D, this is what I really want to put out here. It's not even about that. It's about if we all offer something in a contribution, this is a platform to do it on. And we all we all have our platforms where we all can show our offerings. So
yeah,
if anybody has something to offer, bring it forth so we can know and we can share it to the world because there's someone out there that needs it. There's someone out there that's looking for this. So
and
this
what
is,
everybody offers is so different, and the energy that we all bring forward is different. And what will connect with one person is going to connect differently with another.
yes.
Every being that is offering is needed. There is so much needed right now.
Yes.
And
So,
and as we have this beautiful technology that we can connect with anyone around the world, let's use it wisely. And this is what we're doing. Judy and I, Deirdre, all of you gentlemen, Juan, we're using this technology to connect each other to our offerings because we all have something to offer. Everyone has a beautiful, unique gift that we all need to bring forth. And we're going to use this technology for it. We're going to continue to do more and more of this so we can put ourselves out there and all our offerings and offer them because our gifts matter. Everyone has a gift. Jason, Tristan, Juan, myself, Jay, Deirdre, we all have our gifts and we're here to offer it. There's a beautiful quote that says, the purpose of life is to find my gifts. No, sorry. The meaning of life is to find my gifts. And the purpose of life is to give them away, is to share them. And that's a very powerful quote that resonates so much because there were so many years in my life that I was like, what's the meaning of life? What is this? And when I heard that, I'm like, yes, I do have gifts. I do have things that I'm passionate for. And then the purpose of that is to give it out, to give it away, to service it. And that made my life just change 360. Juan, a takeaway, my brother, a tool, something that you want to bring forward to this space
Strategy,
to
technique.
close it down.
You know what? What's interesting what you're saying is about the gifts. Sometimes we all have hidden gifts that we have not developed yet. And sometimes we need somebody else to come around to show us, hey, you have something, you just don't know it. And that's when you start developing that gift that you didn't even know you had.
Yes, so true.
And gentlemen, I really want to put Deirdre out there again because she's the one that can take you there. If you ever need support, if you ever need someone to talk to, if you ever want to explore those gifts with someone that has the ability to see that, what you might not see, is Deirdre Selby and her son, Sean. So we really want to put that out there, and we're here to connect each other. She is a beautiful, beautiful coach that she can take you to that place to polish what you already know you possess. So thank you, Juan. We're going to close it down like this with appreciation. Judy, please.
With gratitude and love.
And we want to put this picture. Say yes.
Yes.
Yes to yourself. Yes to the vulnerability. Yes to the opportunity. Yes to the beautifulness that we are, that we possess. Say yes to that. And say yes to the uncomfortableness. Because the more uncomfortable we are, the more growth is available for us to experience. Judy?
And to expand and to grow. So, you know, when we talk about the comfort zone, in the comfort zone, nothing grows there. When we get out of our comfort zone and we get into that uncomfortable, that's where we grow. That's where we shine. So I want to remind all of us, right? As I say this, I'm speaking to myself as well, is to remind all of us to continue to explore, to continue to say yes, to continue to go there and to continue to get uncomfortable and to continue to do things even though you may think or you might have the fear behind your mind as saying that somebody's going to judge you or somebody's going to say this or somebody's going to say that. It doesn't matter because what matters is that we're in this together. Nobody gets left behind. We're not alone. We're here to support each other. We're here to co-create and we're here to really shine what our gifts and our purpose because we all need from each other. See how this works? It's so beautiful. We all need from each other. It's like this give and take, give and take. It's this beautiful flow, this infinite flow of energy that we all give and take. Today, as you guys have takeaways, we also have takeaways from you guys. And this is why we love to do these things. This is why we will continue to host different topics, to go into it being uncomfortable, to talk about the things that make us uncomfortable and be raw with you guys and say the things that need to come out, because we want to create this sacred, safe space where we can come together, where we can say what needs to be said and nobody stays quiet, because with that, we're getting again into the uncomfortable and we're making things happen. We're moving forward. We're growing. We're making a difference and we're shining. We're shining.
There's no
You
growth in the
make a
safe
difference.
zone. Say that again.
Safe space.
Sacred
You
safe space.
make a difference.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone, for showing up. Thank you for being here and for holding space with us. We will continue to shine our beautiful light. And that's what we encourage to everyone. Shine the light. Right. Thank you.
Love and light.
Love, love, love to everybody. Thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Love you, bro.
Very good. Take care.
See you, Juan. Good to meet you, Tristan. Bye,
Christian
Dee.
is
Love you.
Goku. Love you, Goku.
Alrighty. Have a good night.
Bye. Blessed evening.
Thank you.
We'll keep
You too.
touching bases. All right. We'll keep touching bases. We're going to continue to show up. Okay. All right. Enjoy your night.